Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 100th video on the channel of me, Gitbag the Great. Now, I had somewhat of an idea that I'd probably get to this point at some point or another, really. I mean, you know, it's only inevitable if you do the amount of videos that I do a week that you some point get to 100 videos. However, to be honest with you, I didn't think it would take this long, considering that I did take quite a few long breaks from uploading videos not too long ago. Mainly just because I was just getting into the life of a university student, and you know, life was just advancing at a pace I wasn't really able to recognise at first. However, now that I've got more of a better idea of what I want my upload schedule to be, I can judge things more as a step-by-step sort of thing. However, I didn't really have that much of an idea of what to do for my 100th video, so I just thought I'd give a quick little sort of, video talking to you guys directly. Sorry if this isn't particularly extravagant, but I haven't got the most in-depth editing software, and, well, my equipment isn't that high-tech, and realistically I don't have that much money at the moment to buy said high-tech stuff in order to record a full-on, hardcore, sort of good quality vlog. But hopefully this little sort of thing of me talking to you guys will suffice for my 100th video, and I've basically thought I'd talk about a couple of things that have been particularly prevalent in my mind recently, and answer some FAQs that I've been asked frequently by other people, to what extent they might influence my base desire to make YouTube videos, and so all that good stuff, all that simple basic stuff. So I guess I'd probably best start off with a couple of the two small things that that have been interesting me recently. One is, if you don't know, I am very much a fan of football, or as some of you might call it, soccer. And recently the news has been just dominated over the last couple of days by the fact that Leicester City, a team that at the end of the last football season in the Premier League was expected to get relegated and then just managed to clinch it at the last moment, has now gone and won the Premier League the next season. This is unbelievable. I have never expected to see something as unexpected as this more. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It was so unexpected, I think, for everyone at the beginning of this current football season that they would win the league, and they fully deserve it. So, just a little point to start off there. Congratulations, any Leicester City fans out there. You massively deserve this. I think, Arsenal, Man City and Tottenham Hotspur, all, they tried, but Leicester, to quote a very generic pun at this point, cunning as a bunch of raving foxes, and basically outfoxed you lot. So sorry to those guys, but massive congratulations to Leicester City. The other bit of news that's been happening recently, and this actually does tie into the FAQs I've been getting recently, is the company the company that made the Warhammer 40k Dawn of War real-time strategy series of games, Relic, have recently announced that they're releasing a trailer for an up-and-coming game. And of course, lo and behold, it's a cinematic trailer for the much-awaited Dawn of War 3. Now, I cannot tell you how gassed I am to hear and see this. I mean, I am a massive Warhammer 40k fan, and Dawn of War 2, without a shadow of a doubt, even to this day after being released for so many years, is still my favourite game of all time. It is an absolutely superb tale of storytelling, gameplay and narrative inclusion, because it not only follows its own story, but it also follows the story created by the original Dawn of War, which was released around 2004-2005, which itself is also a marvellous real-time strategy game. Very different games to certain degrees in how the gameplay is set up, but they are both fantastic games, and I absolutely love Dawn of War 2, easily my favourite game of all time. So you can imagine when Relic, a company that hasn't been doing too well, to be fair, recently announced that they were going to be releasing Dawn of War 3 at some point in the foreseeable future, you cannot imagine how gassed and excited I was. I cannot explain enough how excited I am that this is happening. I haven't had a solidly good RTS since Shogun 2 Total War, released in 2011. Dawn of War 2, of course, was released a couple of years before that, but the only other real-time strategy game that I've really enjoyed that was released since Dawn of War 2 was, of course, Shogun 2 Total War. And the only Warhammer 40k game that I've really enjoyed at all since Dawn of War 2 was released was Warhammer 40k Space Marine, which was, oddly enough, released the same year as Shogun 2 in 2011. And that was an interesting game in of itself as well. It could have had a sort of slightly better ending to its main campaign story, and some of the boss fights in it were just a bit not great, really. They weren't bad, flat out bad. They were just and that was a good game actually as well. It wasn't the best, but it was a decent, solid game. It was a good sort of third-person shooter, taking elements from Warhammer 40k games, a bit of Dawn of War in there, a little bit of Gears of War as well. Actually, it was a really, really good game. But yeah, so those are the two main news bits that have been really sort of interesting me recently, and the Dawn of War 3 in particular announcement, that has just made my week. That is absolutely fantastic. I suppose the other sort of points to point out would be like my core interests and my name and my age. So as you guys all know, my YouTube name is pardon me, Gitbag the Great. My actual name is Ted. I was born on January 24th, 1994, and so I'm about 22. I was born in Guy's Hospital in central London, and the first place I lived in after I was born was Charlton, which is actually also the location of my favourite football team, Charlton Athletic. We're not really the best team, to be honest. We were good a while ago, but we just got relegated. So, yeah, it's a bit of a salty wound, really, after the amount of shit that's been going down at the club recently. But, so then I grew up for the first few months of my life in Charlton. Then I moved to Lee Green, then all around different parts of South East London, Woolwich, Greenwich, Blackheath, places like that. And then I also lived for a while when in my late teens in North London in Haringey. Then I moved back to South East London, and now I'm in Brighton, where I'm studying at the University of Sussex. So I think it's probably the reason why I moved around so much when I was little that interested my influence in so many cultures and so many sort of ways of life, that I then also ended up travelling a lot in my life. I've travelled to Egypt, America, France, Belgium, China, Thailand, all sorts of places. I've even stopped off in Finland during a transition flight. So I've lived in a lot of places, and I've travelled a lot of places. My favourite sports team is, of course, Charlton Athletic. My favourite sport in particular, actually, though, has probably got to be boxing. I just quite like the sort of physical aspect of it. It's quite a sort of... I'd say probably my favourite weight class, and it's probably heavy middleweight. It's probably the most balance between, beating the shit out of each other and having that technical brilliance that you want to see in contact sports. And then, of course, my favourite game, Dawn of War 2, released in 2009. Absolutely fantastic real-time strategy game. Favourite TV show, probably got to be the TV series of TV movies Sharp, starring Sean Bean, that ran from 1993 onwards for about 2 or 3 years, and had about 14, 15 episodes, if I remember correctly. Brilliant series, based off a really good series of books about a British rifle captain during the Napoleonic Wars in Spain. Really, really good book series and really good TV series. Really recommend it. My favourite musician got to be the legendary Marvin Gaye, really great Motown soul singer and musician. Favourite song is, again, one of Marvin Gaye's tunes. It's actually Heard It Through the Grapevine, which is an utter classic. It always gets me in the mood to dance that one, even though I don't really dance that much at all, to be honest. Then my favourite film is actually, it's not the most sophisticated film, but it is a pretty good one with a lot of social commentary and action. It's actually 1987's RoboCop. It's not the most subtle film, really, and it's not the most perfect or balanced, shall we say, but it's got a bit of heart to it, and it's got a bit of passion and trying to it that really sets itself apart from most sort of action films these days. And it's really, really unique in the sense that it has this underlying sense of, you know, sort of social commentary about sort of the gentrification of like a lot of inner American cities. So, you know, it's got a little bit of brain to it, and it's not just a simple dumb action film. It's got some dumb moments, absolutely, but god damn, is it a good film. And then favourite food, probably got to be lasagna. Absolutely love Italian food, and lasagna, without a shadow of a doubt, is my favourite meal. That, with some Cretan salad, garlic bread, and a nice glass of Bordeaux, it's just, mwah, it's perfect. It's my favourite. Pudding would probably have to be, again, very indulgent, white chocolate and raspberry cheesecake. It's just, oh man, is it good. And then my favourite drink, well, non-alcoholic favourite drink would probably have to be mint tea. My favourite alcoholic drink would actually have to be this Greek beer called Mythos, or a nice mojito. And well, my favourite book probably has to be Anthony Beevor's Stalingrad, a great biopic of the Battle of Stalingrad between 1942 and 1943 that really, really brings home the brutality of that battle in the Second World War. I did read his Berlin book as well, and that is just as good a read, but it's just a little bit harder to read because it's a lot more grim and dark. It's a lot, I know it's the Second World War, and it's one of the most desperate fronts of the Second World War, but honestly, that book is really hard to get through. It's not a bad book at all. It's just really, really dour because of the sheer desperation of that conflict. Favourite cartoon probably has to be Tom and Jerry, maybe, I'd say. And then lastly, my favourite shit, this was on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, sorry, my favourite YouTuber, because to be honest with you, considering that this is my 100th video on YouTube, I think it makes more sense that at least if I do, you know, some certain questions, that my last question is a question about, you know, what YouTubers I like. And to be honest with you, I like a variation of YouTubers. I like the Sidemen, I like you know, I like a bunch of different other YouTubers. I really like Nostalgia Critic, I really like Angry Joe, I really like H3H3 and Pyrocynical. I like a bunch of different YouTubers, but my favourite probably has to be, and if you guys haven't ever heard of him, go subscribe to him now because he is fucking marvellous, is The Mighty Jingles. He is an elderly, sort of retired Royal Navy veteran called Paul Charlton, and he's taken up this mantle of the Mighty Jingles. In fact, his name kind of influenced the reason why I ended up naming my channel Gitbag the Great. It's just that sort of pomp, that might, that sort of British might implanted into the name in a sense. And like me, he started off doing World of Tanks videos. I'm going to start doing more World of Tanks videos in the future again, by the way, but he was the main one who inspired me to start making YouTube videos, in that he was the first one I really saw as making it big in making YouTube videos about World of Tanks, World of Warships, you know, all the wargaming games, War Thunder, you know, just all that sort of stuff. And I followed suit by doing similar videos to him at first, and since then my channel's evolved, and I've kind of learned from him to just, you know, do what you want, do what you feel most comfortable doing on YouTube, do what you feel is most enjoyable to you and that you feel most qualified in doing based on your enjoyment and your knowledge of it. And for me, that is making gaming videos about World of Tanks and other games that I play regularly. So he's pretty much the main inspiration for me making YouTube videos at the moment, and honestly, if you guys aren't subscribed to him now, go do it now, because he might be, his humour might be a bit dry to some, but that's part of the lure of his channel. He has a very unique sense of humour amongst a lot of YouTubers, so I think he deserves the respect and sort of the support. So yeah, undoubtedly the Mighty Jinkles is my favourite YouTuber, and I didn't really have that much of a structure for this video, so I mean, sorry if that seems like a bit of a weak way to end it, but ultimately I don't really talk to you guys face to face like this that much, so I just thought this kind of video of me just talking to you guys directly would be a bit more appropriate, shall we say, for the 100th video special. Hopefully when we get to, I don't know, 100 subscribers, if of course we get to that point, and then maybe 1,000, possibly, hopefully, then we'll do something a bit more substantial. But I think this is good enough for now. You guys, of course, can tell me what you think, but hopefully you guys appreciate me sort of talking to you face to face again for the first time in probably a good few months now, come to think of it, really. It's been ages since I've sort of spoken to you guys directly. But yeah, hopefully I can maybe do another one of these sometime in the near future, but I hope you guys have always enjoyed this video as much as I have had making it, thinking about it, and all that stuff. And as always, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay safe, have fun with whatever you're doing, and I'm Gitbag the Great, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield after this 100th video special.